This is the story about how a Horde leveling quest ended up killing the Warchief. The story starts in the Thousand Needles, a zone that is mostly known for its scenery and a pretty unique quest that a lot of people enjoyed. So if you were to ask what is actually in the Thousand Needles, most people would likely answer that this is where the Great Lift used to be. Alternatively, they would mention the quest where you would have to jump from a ledge and then be safe before you hit the ground. This is appropriately named the Test of Faith, and to many it's a pretty strange quest. This video will focus on a lesser known but even weirder quest that follows from the same quest line. This quest, Tion, is called Test of Law and has the quest giver ask you a law related question that you then have to answer. Answering it wrong will give you a debuff which fills you with shame, and you must wait to try it again. While this debuff seems kind of tame, it used to give a similar debuff, but with a catch. The shame would be so great that you would become unfriendly with even your own faction. The big question here is, would this interaction be abused? And as you might expect, it would a lot of times, and it was usually the auctioneers in the cities that would get killed because they were quite easy to kill compared to the guards, and you could run directly to them before actually attacking and spawning more guards. While most players who found out about this would have fun with it and kill a few quest givers or even inhabitants of the city, it was only a question of time before somebody somewhere decided to get organized. This somebody happened to be the guild Blunt Logic of Smolderthorn US, who went to the quest giver, answered the question wrong, and then Hearthstone to Orgrimmar to go to war. In 2006, they succeeded in killing the Warchief Thrall as the first and likely only Horde guild ever. Following this event, the quest was changed to no longer make you hostile with your own faction when you got the mark. As Classic Era is based on patch 1.12, this interaction will not work in Classic, which might be for the better. As a little side note, the problem was deemed so bad that not only was the debuff that the quest giver would cast on you changed, the old version of this debuff would also be changed so that it no longer had this interaction, meaning that if somebody logged out with the old debuff and then logged in today, they will be affected with the new version of the debuff when they log in. As the means of acquiring the new version of this debuff was removed in Cataclysm, it is also very unlikely that we will ever see a player with this buff again. They would have had to be logged out with the debuff for all those years. In the Classic World of Warcraft, both the Wrath of the Lich King and the Classic Era servers, it is actually still possible to get this, albeit the new version and not the old one. So if you ever see a player with this weird arrow above the head in retail, it is probably a Hunter's Mark, but in theory it could still be this buff, although that is very unlikely. I hope you learned something new and that you liked the video. I will leave you with some scenery that you would come across while completing this quest line, which you can still do in Classic. And thank you for watching.
People held up the legends of bounty, reaping the peace that they sow.